you can copy all of the information off of one hard drive to another using Linux very easily with the dd command. So I've got a Ubuntu system here with 2 flash drives connected, and the goal is going to be to copy all the information from one drive to the other. Now I know these are flash drives, and very easily you could just double click on the drives and select the information and do a copy paste or something like that, but we're going to simulate, this is a test to simulate how you would do it if you were going to copy, let's say, a 100 gigabyte or 150 gigabyte hard drive to another, let's say 250 gigabyte hard drive, and you want to copy all of the information from your one system to the other system. A couple of commands that we can look at to get started right off the bat is we've got to figure out which drives we're working with. So a good command to do that is the df, I'm going to put a -H in here for human readable format, and that will tell you all of your free space. This is the disk free command, df, that will show you what used space you have on your drives. And you can see here that /dev/sda1, that's my main hard drive. The size is 12 gigabytes. I'm using a VirtualBox version of Ubuntu here so that it makes it easy to record this video. So I've got a 12 gig hard, that's my main hard drive. And then if you go down here, you can see SDB and SDC, and these are my flash drives. Now I've already successfully copied from one drive to the other, so they're both showing the exact same amount of 450 megabytes of used and 478 megabytes size. So I've already copied it successfully in a previous video. I'm going back and reviewing the information here. Okay, so the df command, very good to take a look at your drives and see what it is that's mounted on your system, right? And I've got my main hard drive. I've got this VirtualBox Editions showing up on my desktop. You can see it here as showing as a CD-ROM. It was a download that's been mounted, obviously probably an ISO file or something like that, image file, and then my 2 USB hard drives. Okay. Another useful command, I installed it earlier, was smart-ctl, smart control, and you need to give it the proper switches. So let's see, how did I do that? Well, it was smart-ctl and then --all space /dev/SDA. And by doing that, I got a permission denied. I need to do a sudo command on the front, and I get information about my hard drive. Now I've had a hard time using this tool, the Smart Control tool, smart-ctl, to see my USB flash drives. It just was kind of hard. I wasn't able to put in the correct switches and arguments to get those drives to show up. If you wanted to install smart-ctl, you can do a sudo apt-get install, I think it was smartmon tools. Smartmon tools for smart monitoring tools. I also did an install of gparted to show you that. So we'll take a look at that. There's some other tools you can look at to look at your hard drives before you decide you're going to copy all the information from one drive to the other. So I'll go to System here, Administration, and the first utility is very helpful, Disk Utility. And the Disk Utility will show you all your drives here on the left. You've got your there's my 13 gigabyte hard drive. It shows up as a SATA host adapter here, so SATA hard drive. I've got CD-ROM here, and then here's my 2 flash drives right here. And then tons of information about the drives and the volumes on the drives right here on the right-hand side. And once again, I'm doing this in VirtualBox to make the recording of this video easy. So I got pretty good information there about the drives. The main thing is, if you have one drive that's full, right, with information, and another drive that's empty, you want to know which one is which. In my case, SDB was the one that was the full drive, and SDC right here was the one that was the empty drive, and I wanted to copy from one to the other. And that was successful. Um, you'll be seeing that in a second. All right, and then another tool that you can use to look at your drives is gparted, and just run that really quickly. Put in my password, and you'll see that gparted shows my partitions here. There's SDA. You can see my ext4 partition here, swap partition, so it shows all the partitions, and it has a graphical version showing the size of the partitions. And then I can switch to SDB, which is my flash drive, and then SDC, my other flash drive. Okay, so now I want to copy all of the information from one drive to the other. So I'm going to put in a dd command here, and it's going to need an input file, and then it's also going to need an output file. Okay, and so the input file will be /dev sdb, right? Because I'm going to be copying from B to C, right? So there you have it. And then the output file, I'll just go over here, will be root folder dev directory /SDC. And that's it. All it takes is one line of one simple line on the bash prompt to copy from all the information from one drive to the other. Now in this case, I'm doing it from a flash drive to a flash drive, but if I had another hard drive on my system, I could copy all of, let's say, SDA, and I wouldn't want to copy just the partition, so I wouldn't copy just SDA1. I would copy probably like all of SDA to another hard drive, so it would be like all of SDA to all of SDC or something like that. So let's see if this will work. So I'll hit enter, and permission is denied because I don't have root permission, so I'll put in a sudo in front. Pretty much knew that was going to happen, and hit enter, and you're not going to get any response at all. You're just going to see a blinking prompt, and fear not, if you see just a blinking prompt, that means the copying is happening from the one drive to the next. And at the end, you'll see a result, a little result information. So you don't want to shut down your system at this point. This means it's working and that everything is good. Okay, the dd command finished. You can see here the sudo dd command, input file and output file, from one flash drive to the next, one USB flash drive to the next, and we did that as a test to simulate copying all of the information from one drive to another drive. This would be much more useful if I was copying all of the information from one hard drive to another hard drive. The great thing about the dd command is it copies the entire drive, all of the information on the drive, from one drive to the next. The key is making sure that you know which drive it is that you're copying from, what your input file is going to be, and also what your output file, where that drive is going to be. And you can see, example, I've highlighted the command here. At the end, it shows records in, records out, and how much information was copied, and that means it was successful. So now that it was successful, I should be able to see the information here on the drives. If I was to double click on them, you see there's information in this drive, and if I click on the other drive, there should be information in there, and there's not. And there it is, and you can see the information is on the drive. So all I had to do was unmount it and then remount it. I wanted to show you one more thing. If you're going to copy from one drive to another useful thing is if you don't have another drive or storage space to copy to when you're doing your dd command, your input file, your output file. In this case, I'm going to copy dd input file, my flash drive on SDB /dev /SDB to output file in my home directory, my Dan folder, my name, and to a file called thumbimage.img. And so that way I could copy, let's say, all the information to an image file, and I'll give that a shot. And once again, I hit enter, and I'm not getting any immediate response because the copying is happening, but it is probably working. So that's another way that you could actually copy from your input file, your hard drive or whatever, to an image file directly. Okay, looks like the dd command worked. I copied my flash drive using the dd command input file of my flash drive, which is basically a disk drive, to an output file of an image file, not to another drive. I got records in, records out, the amount copied, and now I can just go and look. I did it to my home directory, my folder, so I'll just go to Places, Home Folder, and take a look, and there is my image file right there. So looks like it worked. I right click on it and go to Properties, and I can see that it's the right size. It's right size. So it looks like it worked, and to really know for sure, I'd want to copy this image file as the input file to a drive, to a flash drive, and see, does it work? So that's the next thing I might do.